Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. So for today's video, I want to share with you guys some things that just make sense to me as an ADHD. So there's some things that I do, some things in my life that I do because I have ADHD and it just makes sense. Like things just happen and it's like, that's because of my ADHD. So I'm going to share some of that with you because, you know, some of it's just like so annoying to me, but it's like super crippling too. And I know that some of my family finds some of these things super annoying. So yeah, let's get on to today's video. But first, if you could smash me a big thumbs up down below and subscribe to my YouTube channel, I will forever be grateful. So let's get on to the video. So as an ADHD, I have crippling time blindness. No, like I am super blind to time. My time management is really poor and I suck at time management basically. And if you know me as an individual, you know, if you live with me, you do things with me, you will know that I don't leave till the last possible minute because in my head, I don't want to wait around. So if I've got an appointment, for example, at 10:30, I will estimate that I will leave like 10 minutes early. So I'll leave like 10:20. But I don't like estimate in, or I don't really calculate in the time it gets me, how long it takes me to get to the appointment. Like in my head, 10 minutes is enough time, and I don't calculate in like traffic, how long it takes me to get from my house to the appointment. I'm like, yeah, I'll leave 10 minutes early. I'll have plenty of time. I am always late. Like there's no getting away from it. So that's number one. I suck at time management. So the thing that I do is just like estimate time in an ADHD way. And it annoys a lot of people, especially my sister and my mum, because they like to be places like on time, like super early. And me, I'm not waiting around for 20 minutes. That ain't happening. No. I'll get there bang on time, or actually I say bang on time. I'm never bang on time. I'm always bloody late. There's no getting away from it. So yeah, I underestimate. I'm just basically, yeah, I just suck at time management. Yeah. So number two is I have piles of missed appointments because I don't write things down. I'm like, yeah, I'll remember that, and that's the thing that I do wrong. I won't remember it. That's my toxic trait, telling you I'll remember something when I will not remember it. So I'll be like, oh no, don't worry about writing it down, I'll put it in my phone, I'll remember it. The thing is, I forget to put it in my phone, so how am I going to remember the appointment? So yeah, I have tons of like letters that are like, you missed this appointment, blah blah blah, you missed this appointment, or like emails, you missed this appointment, failed to attend appointments. I don't do it because I don't want to go, like I do it because I generally forget. I'm always missing appointments. So number three, for things that just make sense to me as an ADHDer, is I have like drawers or like little piles of notebooks that I've never used before, because I'm like, I need a notebook to write down all my appointments. I need a notebook to write down my thoughts and my feelings. Like I need to start journaling, so I'll buy a journal, or like I'll buy like a scrapbook because I want to start scrapbooking, or a notebook because I want to start writing down my notes and like, you know, appointments and stuff. And then it doesn't happen, and I've got loads of unused notebooks. But it just makes sense to me, you know. I have this super annoying thing that I just want notebooks that I'm never going to use. Yeah. So just like missing appointments, I also miss payments. So like some of the payments that I make monthly, like subscriptions, they'll come out of my bank. That's just like a direct debit. But some of them don't, and they have to be paid manually. Well, there are a lot of times, right, that I forget to pay these things, and I get like late payments. So like late payment fees, and then I have to like add on late payment fees, and I'm paying more, so that I'm like paying more because I keep forgetting these things. Like I keep forgetting to set up direct debits, or I keep forgetting to pay these things because I have to be paid manually, and then I'm paying more because I'm forgetting to do it. So basically the moral of the story is I just have really poor memory. Yeah, but it just makes sense to me, so yay. So another one is having food phases. Like for me, I'll like a food and I'll eat it till I'm sick of it. I can't even look at it anymore. Right? I'll eat food like that for months and months, and I'm like, oh, I love that, it's my favourite thing. Then all of a sudden overnight, it turns out like in the morning I'm like, bleh, can't even think about it because I've eaten it way too much. So I go through really weird food phases, and it's like Yeah, but it makes sense to me, because if I like a food, why buy something else that I might not like? So I'll stick to the same food, because like, what's the point in buying something that I might not like, but I know I like that thing, so I might as well buy that thing because I know I like it. Get it? Makes sense to me, but it doesn't make sense to a lot of people, because they're like, how can you want one, or why would you just stick to one thing? Why don't you experiment? Why don't you try this? Why don't you try? Don't work for me like that. Like, no, there's no logic in that. There's logic in buying the stuff you like because you know you like it, and you're not going to waste money because you know you like it. Get it? Makes sense. It makes sense. Yeah. So the next one is, I will write to-do lists and do nothing on that list. Like, that makes sense to me. I think I give myself like a list of things that I need to do, and it's really unrealistic, and then I won't do it, and then I'll hate myself and feel lazy and get in this like guilt and shame cycle of feeling lazy and that. But it's because I give myself unrealistic expectations. I set myself unrealistic expectations, and that just makes sense to me, because I don't know how to not set myself unrealistic expectations. So the next one is, well, actually I've heard this so many times that it's like, it just makes sense to me because I've heard it so much. So you might be able to relate, or you may not be able to relate, but I've heard people, like, they say to me like, slow down, I can't keep up with what you're saying, like, you're jumping from one thing to the other thing, like, I can't keep up, slow down. I hear that so often. People are like, slow down, you talk way too fast, you're jumping from one conversation to another and I can't keep up. Like, that just makes sense to me, because, you know, I talk super fast, and, you know, I have so much on my mind. I'm trying to like talk about what's going on up here, and that comes out all kerfuffled and like comes out all like jubbly, and people are like, what? But in my head it makes sense. So it makes sense to me, but it don't make sense to nobody else. Does that make sense? Try and make sense of that. So another thing that makes sense to me as an ADHDer is I have weird bursts of energy at like really strange times of the day, and like really like inconvenient times of the day. So like when I'm trying to wind down, watch a movie, you know, have a chill day, just chill out a little bit, relax, go to bed, I get this burst and buzz of energy, and it's like, why now when I'm tired do I want to get up and deep clean the house, or like go for a run, or like go bloody rock climbing or something? Why now? Why couldn't I have this energy in the day? Why now? Yeah, I don't know why that makes sense, but it makes sense to me as an ADHD. Like, that's just my life. Yeah, I can't make sense of that one, but for some reason it makes sense to my ADHD. So yeah, I don't know. So there is just some of the things that make sense to me as an ADHDer that probably don't make sense to neurotypical people, but it makes sense to me as an ADHDer. So either try and make sense of all what I've said, or don't. It's probably easier not to, because I don't even know why. I don't even know why half that stuff makes sense to me as an ADHDer, but it does. Thank you so much for watching today's video, and I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you can relate a little bit. I hope you can like have a little bit of fun and like just make a little bit of humour out of some stuff, because sometimes you got to, right? You just got to make fun of yourself, because it's funny. Some things I do, they just annoy me, and they annoy my family, and it's just like such a typical ADHDer. Like, some things are just so funny. But yeah, like, I'll see you next time, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. Have a good day. Remember, you are worth it, and I'll see you next time. Bye.